Good evening, folks. Jay from Cold Nights here, and I am bringing you now Phil's sideways. Congratulations, dude. I'm bringing you
Um,
a special presentation, and we are live, by the way. There we go. Of Cold and the Boys, and you can see that it is absolutely uncut. You got Phil messing with his camera. We are unedited, unfiltered. So I'm bringing together three of the most knowledgeable people I know in the video game collecting hobby. And that's
oh,
kind of why this came to my head. I have the pleasure of knowing these guys personally. So I play games with them. We talk about our collections. We're all in Discord together. We've been together quite a long time working together. So uh, there's a lot of stuff that I think, especially as the world turns in the gaming industry and hobby, that are getting really, really dark. And I think it's time that we start talking about it more than just like rage posts on Twitter. So that's why I want to do this. And I like doing it live because we can have some interactiveness. Hopefully, the first one will get some viewers and we'll continue to try to, grow it. But when you do a pre recorded podcast, there's a lot less, discussion that can happen between the people who are watching and consuming the content and those of us that are trying to commentate on the stuff. So without further ado, let's get first to some introductions. I want to go over to Rush first. Rush, why don't we tell the viewers about what it is you do, who you are, and what you've been up to?
sure. Thanks for having me, Jay. A longtime member of the community here. Happy to be on the discussion. Recent YouTuber. I've been YouTubing, I guess, for about a month now, but mainly making Splatoon content over my channel. It's been a big month for Splatoon, but yeah, mostly been a member of this community and really happy to be a part of the discussion.
Good deal. Oh man, I've been having a great time with Splatoon Raiders for sure. It has been really, really good, and I thank Rush for really getting me into that. So, good deal, Rush. Real quick, how big is your collection, and what do you focus on mainly?
So my collection is about 700 physical games, and lately I've mostly been collecting for Switch 2. But I kind of collect a little bit of everything. I'm backing off of PlayStation, as we'll discuss tonight. But I've got about 50 PS5 games, 50 PS4 games, about 180 Switch 1 games. So over the last few years, my focus has really been Switch 1, Switch 2.
And I think in the future, all of our focuses will be that as well, and
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely.
retro stuff. Um, all right, so let's go to Zoo next. I think everyone knows you, but what have you been up to, Zoo?
Not too much. Having a celebratory mojito to celebrate the girlfriend's rib skill a little bit.
Good deal.
Absolutely delicious grilled pineapple and toasted coconut mojito. If you fucking guys haven't made this yet, you gotta make it. Other than that, just yeah, I'm Zoo. I used to go by Mongun Zoo, but it's too fucking long to say, so now I'm Zoo, also known as the last cool kid on the internet, also known as who the fuck does he think he is? So yeah, I think people see my dumb shit around all the time. So
So, guys, if you don't know Zoo somehow, he is one of the, I would say, three hornets' nests here. Rush is a very proper fella, and he's not quite as aggro as we are. But I think we'll see some pretty strong opinions tonight. But Zoo is definitely hornet's nest number one, I think, when it comes to a lot of the stuff with the gaming industry and physical collecting. All right, the big guy in the top right corner. Who are you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
It's me. I fill one up. Fill one up collects. Though the collecting for PlayStation is probably going to slow down quite a bit, which we'll get into. But yeah, I've been on YouTube probably 10 years, social media, ranting and raving and collecting. I make comedy videos, a collab with these guys. Just lots of fun stuff. So yeah, happy to be here. What I've been doing lately, playing Power World with Jay. We are so addicted. I've probably got about 45 hours in there, and I can't stop. It's good times.
Yeah, we've been having a great time with that. I've been having a lot of good gaming time with my friends lately. which I've really needed to keep my mind off of what's going on in the gaming industry. You all know me. I'm a huge, big time collector, and I kind of have a unique perspective that I think these gentlemen share with me. I'm an older gamer, I'm an older YouTuber, and we are all basically in the same demographic. We are all old men who play games and make YouTube videos. Um, and the thing is, all of us have very intense collections and we put a lot of money into them. And so I think a lot of the opinions that come out that you see on Twitter, Reddit, whatever your social media drug of choice is, are from people who aren't as deep into it as we are. Um, so this isn't going to turn into let's brag about how big our collections are, but the difference between me and someone who has 20 PS5 games and that's their entire video game collection is intense. And I'm not solely a physical collector. I'm not one of those, and I think that's one of the first things we're going to talk about here that's really, really been upsetting me. And how we're going to do it, we're going to go right around and we'll start a discussion here. But let me get into this. It's the crux of the problem I have with this. All right. There are so many people who want to be tribal about everything. And the physical game discussion should not be fucking tribal. This is the key point that I need to make. Me and Rush and Phil and Zoo demanding physical games does not take away from your right to use Steam, to use Epic, to use GOG. You can do whatever you want. You can have the choice to get whatever digital storefront you want, to get the physicals you want. That's what I want for everybody, because I don't just collect physically. I also have a robust Steam library. I have a ton of digital games, especially on my PS3 and Vita, because of all the classics from PS1 and PS2. I am not solely a physical collector. I am primarily a physical collector, and I'm someone who wants choice for people. I want choice for consumers. I want rights for consumers. And guess where those things are not? In digital gaming. But that doesn't mean I don't think that you have the right to make your own decision about rights management. And if that affects your decision to buy digital or not, it does affect mine. But what I don't like, and this is what I want to talk about, is people seem to want it to be black or white. You either support the all digital future, or I've heard people call us disc diddlers, that it is somehow a derogatory or negative thing to want physical media. And this is like a psychosis. We'll call it Sony derangement syndrome. SDS, Sony derangement syndrome, which is funny because that's their studio, San Diego Studios, that makes MLB The Show, which is going to be a tough one because I love MLB The Show. And this year, I got it on the Switch. So that's the only money that Sony got from me was that, even though I played it on the Switch too. But what is happening online right now? So I want to go to Rush first. Does this feel disturbing to you that there are so many people who are actively working against what we're hoping for?
Yeah, it does. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Jay, when you mentioned that you have, a combination of digital physical games. I think that basically represents everyone here on the panel tonight. I think it represents the majority of gamers too. And, we're right now there's a demoralization campaign, as Zoo would say, going on with respect to physical PS5 games, and the market has rejected physical is kind of the message that we're hearing. But I look at kind of the opposite. If you look at the sales data for the PS5 disc version versus the digital only version, overwhelmingly people have picked up the disc based PS5. The digital only version is less popular. So that to me tells me people like at least the option of having a disc. And even if they do have, the majority of their games being digital. So I think we're kind of having a false binary forced on us that you have to be all physical or all digital, where most people out there have a combination of the two. And yet, granted, some people are 100% physical. Some people have, made the switch to being fully digital. But I think it's a false binary that it has to be either or. You have to be kind of team disc or team digital. And I think, frankly, there's a little bit too much infighting going on in the community right now certain people saying, oh, we just need to accept the end of physical media, where I think, again, most people do have a combination of the two.
Yeah, so like I actually view the digital edition of the PS5 like a scarlet letter. Like if one of you bought it, I'd be mad at you and I'd judge you for it because it does take away that choice. But again, right, I'm kidding amongst friends here. I really don't care if Joe Schmo wants a digital console. I honestly don't. But obviously consumers overall, like you said, voted to get the disc version because those digital ones are still sitting on the shelves, unable to be sold at the ridiculous price that they're offered at. And it's just something that's very terrible. So, Zoo, I want your opinion on it because what I want to ask you about is one of the things I think we have to differentiate here is you have people who are content creators or who are actual agents for these companies. So you have people like Alana Pierce, and you have people like maybe that aren't video people, but they're like journos, and you and Phil have shared a lot of them. They actually have a stake in this. And I'll get to it later in my call out against people. There's a lot of creators that are not million subscriber people. They're not actual agents of these companies, but because of their accessibility that they want to continue to have to codes, to goodies, to free prizes, to gifts, they don't want to speak out. They don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. But I want to differentiate between someone like Alana Pierce and the idiots that are commenting under the boycott or blackout posts that are insulting us and telling us we just need to move on and that we're disc diddlers and that we're like unks. Like, there's a big difference there. And I think that there's definitely two different motives. And I want your take on that. Like, what is Alana Pierce doing? And what is Joe Schmo that has some like nasty profanity ridden thing to say about you wanting physical games?
Yeah, so there's three groups of idiots here that is essentially coming forward to help the industry succeed in their goals. Alana Pierce, I would put in the actual category of a demoralizer. This is a woman that has direct access to the industry. She's in the industry. She helps develop and write games for the industry. She's a big voice in the industry. And essentially, her motivation is very easy. Her motivation is clear. She's going to side with the industry. She's going to side with the industry over players every single fucking time. It's that simple. It's to preserve her access, and it is to push an agenda that butters her bread. That's what it is.
Also, don't forget, Alana Pierce directly worked for Sony.
Correct. So, no mysteries there. I think that's the most clear-cut one. I'll give you another one that Phil just sent me that just didn't shock me, but disappointed me is Kiwi Talks. Kiwi Talks is also going off on a tirade, demoralizing now. And here's another guy who is industry close. He's close to all these developers. He gets insider information. He talks directly to developers. And naturally, he's going to side with the games industry over the game customers. That's just what it is. This all stems back from, Herman and Chomsky's great book. And every gamer should be fucking reading this book right now. It's called Manufacturing Consent. And that's what's happening right now. And it's happening at 3 levels, but that first level is the biggest because they're the standard setter. Your IGNs and your Game Rants and your Alana Pierces. These are your standard setters. These are the guys that are going to be basically throwing out the talking points and all working in tandem. And we've seen this a few times, actually, in the video games industry, where all of a sudden there's this gigantic push where they all have basically the same headlines at the same time. And it's happening again, this time on behalf of Sony, defending Daddy Sony and sucking that Sony cock. That's what's happening right now. But that's your first tier. Then there's your second tier, which is kind of the most, I feel like it's the most disappointing one to us, but shouldn't shock us either. That's your career climbers. That's your wannabes. So these are the people, they're not in that established position with insider information, working directly with the industry. They're not going to Jeff Keighley's fucking video game awards, right? They're not doing that. But they want to. They want to be. And so they are career climbing, and so can't piss off Daddy Sony too much. And so these are the people that will either, at best, won't talk about it, or at worst, literally do that Brutus move and stab us right in the fucking heart, right? So you have those people, and their motivation is, I also feel pretty clear. Their motivation is that they want to climb that ladder and they want to be the access journos. They want to be the content creators with that access. So again, not too simple. The one that I scratch my heads about is the third category and what the fuck is happening in their heads. And that is first name bunch of numbers on fucking Twitter that has decided to call us diddlers and shake their fucking heads and try to hold a moral high ground over people that just want to hold on to their preferred way to play video games. And I don't think there's as clear-cut a motivation there. But I do know what is happening to them because, again, another book I'm going to recommend that all gamers read. Y'all won't, but I'm going to recommend it anyway for gamers. Gamers read. Yeah, I know. But Robert Cialdini's Influence. There are 6 weapons of influence that any influencers, whether it's those career climbers or whether it's those high-end journos, will use. First is reciprocity. So it's that parasocial relationship, right? That you're getting out of talking to and being in proximity to some of these larger content creators, right? Second one is consistency. Everybody has an internal psychological desire to be in sync with their past actions. So a lot of digital gamers, because they've backed digital gaming their whole lives, they feel like this is an easy issue to side with because it's internally consistent to the way their brain works, right? Motivation number 3, social proof. This might be the strongest force in the entire universe. They see all of their friends and all of the creators that they like and follow. They see Alana Pierce sucking that Sony cock. They see Kiwi sucking that Sony cock. And they say, you know what? I think that Sony cock might taste pretty good. I'm going to suck that Sony cock too. Social proof. It's the laugh track in American television. It laughs for you. That's what's happening in terms of that weapon of influence. Next weapon of influence is going to be authority. Well, that one's easy. These are people that are games industry heavyweights. Some people like David Jaffe, who literally created an entire video game. So there's that authority at play. Or somebody like Alana Pierce, who wrote for some of the most critically acclaimed video games that Sony's made. There's that authority at play, right? So they take that authority as a game journo or a person in good standing, and they utilize that in order to influence their audience. Next up, liking. This is what all of the social media people use. It's that parasocial relationship again. You're more likely to agree and be persuaded by somebody that we like. And last but not least, scarcity. And that's where they weaponize their elite access to game companies and to Sony, because they have that. And because they have that, people are going to think they're more right. So those are some of the reasons why gamers, the worst customers that are just a first name bunch of numbers on Twitter, might actually still be interested in doing this narrative, even though it is contrary to their interests. Think of the cattle that are being literally kenneled into the slaughterhouse, right? Mm-hmm. And you will see some cattle start to buck. That's us, guys. But what's actually more disturbing is as the cattle are corralled and kenneled into the slaughterhouse, you'll also see some cattle that don't buck at all. They just walk right in. And so that's what comes from decades of the games industry shedding customers that are less cooperative and only keeping the most cooperative customers. Over time, you will basically domesticate your own audience. And so the people that remain in this hobby, over time, they will continue to accept worse and worse conditions, and they will become worse and worse customers as a result.
Absolutely. So great points there. And one of the ones that I really want to touch on is the social proof and the peer pressure that goes on. And I want to make it clear to anyone that happens to stumble upon this video or catch the VOD, or you're watching live or whatever, that because I disagree with you doesn't mean we're fighting, and it doesn't mean I'm mad at you, and it doesn't mean that I'm insulting you. I can disagree with anybody, and I've disagreed with all three of you in the past before, and we didn't have to fight. So I want to be clear that any content creator that thinks I'm talking about them, I probably am, but I'm going to be kind and I'm going to make my point. And it doesn't mean we're fighting. It doesn't mean you have to be angry or that I'm angry at you. We have a difference of opinion about a serious matter. So my concern is there's been a couple content creators that I absolutely thought would support our fight, that said that they were physical collectors and that was the most important thing to them. And they were all about does it play and complete on cart. And I actually saw some of these people in the last week roll back their thought and say that our boycott and our blackout was performative, and say that they are a gamer first and a collector second, and physicals don't matter as much as playing a good game. And my concern there is, right, you're free to have your opinion. If that's really what you believe, then that's okay. But it is not what you always preached. So you have changed your tune as the situation has changed. And what really disturbed me, and this is where we're talking about the social proof and the peer pressure, when these people make the posts saying, I'm a gamer first, collector second, physicals are important, but not as important as good games, or I think your boycott is performative. People that are not content creators, but are fans that I'm aware of on Twitter that are also collectors, because of that social pressure, are agreeing with them. Like, oh yeah, you're right. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. You wouldn't say that to me. Why are you saying it to them? Why are you buckling under the pressure to get some attention from Sensei? Like, what is happening here? Like, it's unbelievable. Like, stop what you're doing and think about what you're really getting into here, right? You might think that agreeing with somebody because you like them or you want attention from them is like a fun, good thing for you, right? But you failing to meet us in this fight, we need all the hands on deck. I need real collectors and people who want physical media choice behind me and behind us. And when you're speaking against us because you want attention from your favorite content creators, that's very sad. That's very sad. The other thing is, and this person I will name because he did something positive, but I want to call out what he had to say. Brandon from Just the Gems is one of my good friends. I've known him for a long time, and he is absolutely with us. He is absolutely on our side. But he made an apologetic post saying, I don't want to upset any of my friends or contemporaries with what I'm going to say, but this is bullshit, and I hate it, and Sony isn't getting $1 of my money. I love that he said that Sony's not getting $1 of his money. And I believe Brandon. Like, he's a man of his word. He will not give them $1 of his money. Good on him. But to think that you have to preface that with a sappy apology because other content creators will get mad that you don't agree with them. Guys, I don't care if you're mad at me. You're wrong. If you built your channel and career on saying you're a physical collector and a physical gamer and game on disc is important and complete on cart is important, and then you say that this blackout and this boycott is performative, you are wrong. Period. I'm not mad at you. But I've lost some respect because I have to wonder why, and it's not just one person. I saw literally 5 or 6. I have to wonder, why are you doing that? Now, my mind, which is often very negative, immediately goes to this person wants gifts and codes from Sony. And people might say, well, Sony doesn't really do that as much. Okay, but think of how many developers and publishers have not said a word because they don't want to upset Sony. So if you normally get a whole bunch of codes from Falcom and NIS, they're not going to give you codes anymore if you become a problematic person for Sony. So some developers have spoke out, but very few, because they also don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. So I have to wonder about people's takes on this stuff and why they have these takes. I have my take because I'm a physical collector that wants to go to a store and hold a disc in my hand. It's very simple. There's not a nuanced take here. There's nothing to explain. But I want to know why some of you, who I thought were absolutely our allies, suddenly are not. Phil, why do you think someone would do that?
I'll be less nice than Jay. You're weak, you're stupid, or you're bought. Which is it? Which is it? The people I'm thinking of, you're weak, you're stupid, or you're bought. Because here's the thing, and this is why I'm going to be less nice than Jay, because I have nothing but disdain for this. And the reason for that, and why I respect Brandon's stance so much, by comparison, someone who's willing to come out. Brandon is important because Brandon, unlike me, Brandon is a Sony customer. I need to preface that. Guys, I'm not a Sony customer. I've never been a Sony customer. Which begs the fucking question, why am I out here doing more for this cause in terms of speaking out and putting my fucking self on the line? I'm a fucking Switch collector. Why do I have to be out here on the front lines when you've got people with a absolute library of PlayStation 5 games and fucking figurines, and you can't fucking speak up on behalf of your own fucking hobby? Not you, Phil. You speak up. But they know who I'm talking to. They know. And it's just like, why am I out here? Why aren't you out here defending your fucking hobby? It's obviously your hobby. Look behind you. Why won't you fucking speak up? And so, it's only one of three. Now there is a fourth one. There is a fourth group of people, so I don't want to throw that out there without mentioning this, which is that you just don't give a shit. And in that case, why the fuck are you a YouTuber that collects and plays video games?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Something's not adding up in any way, and I half resent it because I am more engaged in this fight than a lot of your Sony content creators. And it's weird to me.
It is pretty weird. It's pretty weird that, Justin should be sitting here right now with us. Like he should be here because he's got a decent following. But yeah, he should have, but why people would do this? It's pretty much what Zeus said. They're either bought, they're weak, or they just they're just like, well, there's no we can't do anything. Like, we can't do anything. I see so many people say, well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna fight. I've said this so many times to people. It's like,
That falls under weak.
how many times throughout history have people risen up to fight for a cause that they believed in? They didn't just go, what can we do? No. If they would have, so many things throughout history would have never been done or happened. The freedoms that you get to have now, you wouldn't get to have. And I know we're talking about video games, but that kind of weak-minded thought process is why things are so bad in this game industry and throughout the world. Because people just go, well, what can we do? Like, guys, wake up. There's more of us than there is the corporate people that make the video games. Mm-hmm. There's more of us. We are the reason why they have the monies and the success. It's because we bought the products. We bought the products. They started out with literally a couple of nerds in a room making a game. And if we didn't buy it, they wouldn't have been able to make the game. Like, so many young gamers, they don't even realize there was a video game crash. I was talking to someone that didn't even believe it really happened. I shared it with Zoo, and I was like dumbfounded about how they didn't understand there was a real video game crash in the 70s and 80s. and that Nintendo, a card company, snuck in, delivered the NES disguised as a toy, an interactive toy.
That's very
and
important.
Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt took the world by storm, and because of that, we have video games as we know it today. So, yeah, we older gamers, we built these companies. We built their empire. So when they're taking away our choice, our preferred way of playing and buying and enjoying games away from us, it's a big deal. Now, I understand you're a new gamer. You don't have no appreciation for that because you got the Roblox and the Minecraft and the Fortnite, and hey, that's cool. But why are you out here being such a hater and a troll to people who literally made it so that you can enjoy your Fortnite and your Minecraft and your Roblox? If we didn't support these companies, you wouldn't have video games. So stop being disrespectful little farts to us and let us have what we want. Because it doesn't impact your digital games. So why are you so angry? I don't understand why you're like this. Because if it was your digital games being taken away, all of us would sit here and we would be doing the same thing. We would be fighting for your right to have
100%.
digital purchasing because we want options for people. We want physical to keep existing. Just because physical exists, it doesn't hurt your digital games.
All right. So
Yeah, that's a good point, Phil. And I think it's worth mentioning. I don't think the death of physical gaming benefits anyone. Even if you're all digital, I don't think you benefit from the removal of that option. And likewise, I think if we lost all digital games, the industry would be a lot poorer for it as well. A ton of indies would not be able to get off the ground if there was no digital distribution. So, yeah, the options are good.
all right. Great points. The next thing I want to touch on and go around the table on is an economic side to this. I hear so many of these demoralizers saying, and even content creators like Alana Pierce, that there's nothing we can do. We can't prevent this. And a lot of people saying Sony is too big to fail. Now, I want to talk about a little bit of a history lesson. I'll bet you people thought Jack in the Box was too big to fail. I'll bet you people thought that Montgomery Ward's was too big to fail. People thought Kmart was too big to fail.
Sears.
So let me tell you,
Buster.
right? And this is going to sound evil, and I don't care. You want to put me in a class? I'm in the class Zoo mentioned. I don't give a fuck. All right? Here's the deal. And this is going to sound awful, and you can get mad at me, and you can unsubscribe or not like me or whatever you want. If you support Sony and you're a content creator, I hope your channel fails. I hope you never make money, and I hope your shit is ruined. If you are a developer that is on board with this, may you have the consequences befall you as well. And Sony should be literally wiped off the face of the earth. This blackout, this blackballing should go further than the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 6. Cancel Crunchyroll. Don't ever buy a Sony TV. Do anything you can to take money away from them. Because we have to, and I said this in one of my posts that got many, many, many likes. We have to reintroduce consequence into this situation. There has to be a dire consequence for what they have done, because they have made a bad business decision. And they did it with such hubris that they thought we would all roll over and spread our ass cheeks for them to plunge it in. This is unacceptable. When companies make bold, bad decisions, they must pay. The people who work for them must pay. The people who work with them must pay. The people who support them must pay. And I'm not talking about, I don't want anybody to be hurt or anything like that, but financially, it's a bad deal. So if you tied your boat, if you moored your boat to Sony, you should pay the consequences or stand up and say, I'm not going to stand for this. Like, it's so crazy. When I say I want Sony to have to lay people off, that is a consequence, and they will have to reverse their direction. Because here's the thing. No modern company wants that press. Sony may not be worried about me and you making videos calling them out. But when the Wall Street Journal reports that they're laying off thousands of people, that's the kind of press that they don't want to have. So these companies are too big to fail in a way that if we make enough waves, they have to react, because Sony will not allow itself to fail. We have to change the fail state. We have to change what failure means to them. So I don't want somebody manufacturing TVs for Sony to be laid off. I don't want Sony's social media person to be laid off. But I want shareholders and CEOs to be having some heavy cuts to their paychecks, because those are the people that will quickly make them reverse direction. So let's go around the room. What do you guys think? Rush.
Oh, yeah. Let me just say that, and I'll be as clear as possible with this. Gamers have a moral right to cheer on the coming financial destruction. They have a right to. They have a right to a lot of things. And what I mean by this is that this is a industry, not just Sony, but Sony is the largest example currently. This is an industry that has decided to start waging war on its own customers. Everything becomes the gamer's problem, whether it's storage, whether it's optimization, whether it's price increases. Everything becomes the customer's problem. And I'm not going to betray confidences because it was a private discussion, but I was having a private discussion with a content creator that we know. And one of the things that they mentioned is the fact that it's like, well, but that's not the right way to go about things, Sue. And I'm like, here's the thing. I don't give a damn. I don't have to give a damn about video game makers, developers, publishers, people that are in the game's YouTube sphere, content creators. No, I don't have to care about any of these people. I'm a customer, and only the customer has a right to be selfish. And the customer hasn't been able to be selfish for a long fucking time because the industry's been plenty selfish for the both of us. And so when I say that I don't give a shit about the livelihoods of anybody in this games industry anymore, I mean it. Because they had an opportunity to make games for normal people. They had an opportunity to make games for decent budgets within their means, not overshoot the market, and give us good games. They had an opportunity to do that, and they told us no. They told us to eat shit. Deal with our shitty optimization. Deal with having storage be your problem. Deal with higher prices. Deal with less consumer rights. Deal with all of that. And so you no longer give a shit. You don't give a fuck about me. You don't care about me having the same experience with my niece and nephew that I had with my dad, that Phil had with his uncle. It's obvious you don't care about us having those same magical experiences, Jay, that he gets to have with his son. You don't give a shit that I get to have those same experiences with my family. So why do I give a fuck about you and your family?
To what you're saying there, I have seen people on Twitter talking about the boycott/blackout and saying the things that we are doing will hurt developers. We have someone in chat. Not all developers knew what Sony was doing. I'm sure they didn't. Sony was very evil about this, right? But it doesn't matter, right? So I've seen people accuse us, the people who are trying to lead this, of harming workers and developers and people like that.
Good.
No,
Good.
Sony is responsible for that. I am not responsible for that. Sony is responsible to me to deliver the product for me to buy. That's how fucking commerce works. If people lose their jobs, if people lose their jobs because bad decisions by Sony, that's on them. It's not on me. If you don't make a product that fits into my lifestyle, then you don't get my money. And the thing is, what they're not counting on here, right, is that people like us We are the proverbial whales. I spend $20,000-$30,000 a year on video games. They're looking like to think that they would throw away so many collectors like us that are grown adults that are making six-figure incomes that have money to buy what we want when we want. I can just go out and buy any game I want, and I'm not buying Sony games anymore. It's not performative.
You're right, Jay. You're right. But I will say, you're right. It is Sony's fault. But if they want to put that blame on me, if they want to say that I'm waging war with people's livelihoods, guilty as charged. I accept it. I'll roll with it because I don't give a shit anymore. They don't give a shit about me as a customer.
And
so why do I give a shit about them? So again, you're completely correct, but I will not be morally guilted into switching my position. Nope, yep, okay. You don't care about game developers or live. You're right. I don't. I'm a customer. I have a right to be selfish.
Come on.
It's worth pointing out too that the powers that be in the AAA space, they do not have a good track record when it comes to taking care of their employees in general. So you hate for anyone to lose their job, but this is not an industry that has been providing stable employment to a lot of developers, even when we're supporting them.
And with the developers, I'll say, like, because that person in chat mentioned the developers didn't know, but I do think the developers have a responsibility to stand on what they believe in. And if they believe that we should have physical games, then I want to see developers and publishers come out and say that.
And I appreciate that sentiment, Elemental, like the Shadow. I appreciate that sentiment. What I will tell you is that's too damn bad. It's too bad. Yeah, what I will tell you is that and Rush will back me on this, any industry that has a programming or engineering job will pay twice as much as what the games industry pays. So in a way, they may not be doing what they want to do, but they're better off. They're better off not working in this absolute grinder that the games industry is, this meat grinder.
He mentioned Kojima, and I just want to say that it wasn't that long ago that I watched Kojima literally say in an interview just a couple of months ago how he was in a industry that was about what did I put it as? It was a hospitality industry. So he's an industry of serving the customer and serving the team of people he works for. If you do a good job to where you take care of your employees and you take care of your customers, everything will be fine. None of this would be happening if Sony and all these AAA publishers and investors actually took care of their employees and their customers. So you want to mention Kojima, he literally said that.
Yeah.
And Kojima will be fine, but yeah. And even if he's not fine, that's too bad. It's too damn bad. I will not be held morally hostage anymore.
So that
on behalf of strangers I don't know.
That becomes my question to the chatter, Elemental. So you say it does matter. So what does that mean? Like, what are you getting at? Are you saying that you're going to continue to be a customer of Sony because you feel bad that developers and people will lose their jobs? Are you letting that affect your decision? Because honestly, I'm not. I just like Zeus said, I don't care. I don't care. If the company you work for or I work for in our real lives offline makes bad decisions, we'll lose our jobs. We're no different than anybody else. And as people, as a manager in my company, I would speak up and try to change the direction. And if I can't, and they make bad decisions and I lose my job, it's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that customers have to buy the shit that we put out and be happy with it. It doesn't matter if it's sad or not. It doesn't matter.
The best way to make me care, Shadow, is for them to make a product I care about in a format that I value.
And so I'm not insulting you or calling you out. Like, okay, you can have compassion, but I think it's a stretch to let that decide what you're going to buy. I don't, like if I go looking for coffee, I'm not one of those people that's like, I want ethically sourced fair trade coffee. I don't give a crap. I want good coffee that doesn't cost a lot.
Well, and let me add to that. Like I agree with you. I will never bash somebody for compassion. Shadow, Elemental Hero, the Shadow. If you have compassion, you are welcome to it. I'm just explaining why I'm all out of it. This industry.
Yeah.
But I want to add, I have developer friends that are working on their games. They're indie developers, and it's a struggle for them. And these console platforms actually make it incredibly hard for them to even get on that platform because they don't want to share the tools, what's it called? Zoo knows what I'm talking about. They don't want to share the developer kits so they can actually put it on that platform. Nintendo has been reported about holding that over, only giving it out to select few. And then it's just the fees of being able to even put their games on a console platform themselves is incredibly expensive to where they can't even do it. And then a lot of these indie developers have to go through a Kickstarter. And I've seen several that are really successful right now that are promising a physical release on PlayStation, and their game isn't going to come out to 2028. They may not even be able to get that game physically out and offer that reward that people are backing them for. Sony is literally taking away the ability for these developers to have a physical copy of their own game on their shelf. A game they can look at and say, I made this game, I built this game. And now they don't even have that as an option. And that's another way of them getting to make money, not to mention our friends in retail stores that are probably going to potentially lose their business because now they don't have a video game retail store. Or let's talk about physical publishers that only put out physical games. They're about to lose their means of making money. It's really, really bad, and people are just blowing it off and making excuses and not looking at it from all sides. And when you sit down and you start to look at it like that, you wake up and you realize this is much worse than what I thought originally. And that's why we need to stand up, because this isn't good. This isn't good.
In chat, Elemental said that what he's getting at is some of these people have come out and it sounds like they are speaking up against Sony, and that's great. I would actually love for someone to put together a list and post it so we can know who we should support better. If there are developers and studio heads that have spoke up against it, let's hear it. Let's gather that all together so we can know who is on our side.
Because I'm putting together a list of demoralizers. I might as well start working on a list of people we should be supporting.
Yeah, and Elemental, you're absolutely right. They literally, when they put it out, they're like, you can't talk about it on social media. Like, this whole thing was a goddamn evil-ass plan that was hatched by the top people in Sony. And it's just, it boggles my mind.
You know what's sad is this whole situation, now that I think about it, I don't think anybody's even thought about this. It makes Microsoft look more compassionate because Microsoft went, a couple of days before or was it that day where they backpedaled the Xbox One launch and changed things?
Yeah, just look at what they're doing right now, Philly. Look at what they're doing right now.
Sony has literally been quiet for over a month and telling people they cannot talk about anything.
Nintendo Prime was making that point, Philly. Nintendo Prime said if you look Xbox, the day that they had their outage, which, by the way, boy are the digital-only people taking L's, I'll tell you. Because now Microsoft systems are down, and on their system, depending on how you've got your game set up or how they published a game, you can't even play your physical games on Xbox. But look what Xbox did. The same day it happened, they put out a message saying, guys, we know, we feel you, we're working on it. Sony doesn't give a shit, man. Sony still hasn't put out a statement.
It's so crazy.
They're letting quickly they have demoralize us instead. Well, they sit quiet.
They have just turned to the worst villain in the game industry, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me. As somebody that's been a long time supporter of PlayStation since day one,
such a shame.
Like I never thought, like I knew that we were eventually going to get to like a digital thing, but I never thought it was going to be this much of a betrayal.
He
Like,
looks
I
like he's
feel
about
so
to
sick
cry.
at my stomach.
Thanks,
Like,
Sony.
no,
You're
not
making
cry.
Phil
I feel
cry.
like I feel like I
What
want to
the
throw
fuck?
up, cry, and then like rage, like just shoot a Kamehameha blast at their company or something. I mean, I
Sony
don't
fans,
know, man.
Sony fans need to get as angry at Sony as Zoo gets at Nintendo. If
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
do that, you'll be okay. I've
So,
literally sat out 2 entire console generations because fuck Nintendo. I've done that before.
so I want to start with Rush here, and I want to get some pretty straightforward answers on this from you guys for exactly what your plans are. So, if Sony does not reverse decision on this, Rush, what is your future plans with game collecting and gaming?
So, game collecting in general, I'll keep buying physical games as long as they keep making them. I'll keep buying for the Switch 2. For the Switch 2, my philosophy is simple. I do not purchase key cards. I don't give anyone a hard time if they choose to buy a key card personally. That's their business, but I buy physical only games for the Switch 2. And as far as Sony goes, I'll probably continue to buy PS5 games on a used basis. So, for example, Code Veronica next year. I'm pretty hyped about that. I'll pick that up used. I'll probably pick it up at a discount. And I'm really hoping. I have a nagging suspicion that Square Enix might try to make the last part of FF7, the remake trilogy, digital only. But assuming that gets a physical disc as well, I'll pick it up used. But in general, to answer your question, my philosophy is basically give Sony no money. I'll purchase used games from GameStop or it's EB Games here in Canada or Facebook Marketplace when they show up. But otherwise, yeah, Sony won't be getting any money from me.
Good deal. What about you, Zoo?
I never gave Sony money, but so actually my plans are completely unchanged. That said, I will echo what Rush said. It's a very good point. Utilize and leverage the power of used games. In terms of getting games you can't live without. Everybody has that game that they have to buy. They can't live without. Utilize used games. Understand that they already, on one hand, they've gotten their money, but buying a used game does potentially deprive them of a new game sale. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And the used game sale is a completely different SKU. It's a totally different product because it is the product of the used game store. That's
Right.
the company that chose to make the brick and mortar store and sell you the used game. I do this right now with Square shit or shit Enix or whatever you want to call them. I do that right now. I will buy their games used and I buy them when they get to $30 because I see them as being so anti-consumer at this point with no upgrade paths, game key cards on. I am so turned off by the way this fucking company does business on Switch 2 and on Switch that I won't give them another penny ever. Ever until they change.
Good deal.
Used
Phil,
games are a great leverage for that.
what?
Well, me, I mean, I got the PS5, so my plans buy PS4 games that I hadn't picked up. I actually feel like buying more PS4 versions of some of these games than the PS5 versions. Just because, I mean, hey, if you wanted to play it on multiple platforms, you have that option. Um, um, Probably buy some PS5 games that are, just only on there physically. Um, if I can get them used, get them used. If I can't really get them used because GameStop sucks and we don't really have used stores, might look on eBay. Unless it's something I just really, 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 really want. I don't really pre-order at all anymore. So, um, but yeah, as for Switch, this whole stuff literally pushed me to go to the Switch 2 and purchase the Switch 2. I was so in that camp of not buying one for quite a while, but I'm literally going to get one next month, and I'm sticking to the no key card. Like I'm with Zoo, I'm with Rush. I'm not gonna buy them. I just don't care. And then also when everything goes all digital. Um, just I guess GOG, Steam Deck. That's what I'll do. I don't need Sony anymore. They chose to discard me and treat me and my money and my time and all these years I invested in them like crap. So, yeah, they ain't getting another dime out of me. No more PlayStation consoles. It's over.
Good deal. I am fully behind the blackout and the boycott. And it's not performative. Uh, I've canceled Crunchyroll. I did not renew my PS Plus subscription. And I wasn't a huge consumer of new Sony games, but I did buy them from time to time. I had just recently bought the latest Bleach Fighter new a couple of months ago. There's been games that I buy new, and I just simply won't. I will absolutely do used because they will not get that additional sale. Now, I've heard people online saying, oh, but that's already been sold to Walmart or GameStop. Okay, but their sales numbers will go down, which means their next shipment of units will be less. I want to hurt Sony. I want to take money away from
Correct.
investors in Sony. I want to take money away from shareholders in Sony to make them see the error of their ways. So if something comes out that I absolutely must have, I will get it used. And the thing is, what I do see that's performative, I will give this. There are people that are like, I traded in my PS4 and PS5 and all my games. Dude, you already bought them. It doesn't matter. That isn't doing anything. You're just trying
That's
to
your
get
money,
people
bro.
to like your post. Like, like that's what I see there. But as far as, I'm done with PS Plus, and the thing is, oh, my camera is freezing up crazy. Come on, I'm trying to wave to get it back. Come on, whatever, it'll come back at some point. But I was literally a customer of PlayStation Online and then PS Plus from day one. From How is it still frozen? Come on. There we go. From day one on the PS3, I was there for the huge outage. I've been around forever. You have literally lost someone who would have stayed subscribed to that forever. I am not. There is variance in all of us here. I am okay with online subscription services. I like those services. I had Nintendo Switch Online. I had been a PS Plus person. My kid always had Xbox Live. All right. So we are all different. And even when it comes to the key cards, I'm against key cards, but I have bought some. And I'm not apologetic about it. If you have a problem with me, I don't give a fuck. I bought them because I wanted to have Elliot physically. You can get mad at me and say it's e-waste and it was just to put a box on my shelf. I don't care. I wanted to go in the store and buy it. You can go to hell. I don't care. But many games, for instance, the Fatal Frame game that came
Oh,
out.
it hurts so bad. Oh, it hurts. It's still...
The camera is still freezing. My God. Whatever. I didn't buy it. There's things that I have
Camera's
turned
mad
away.
because you bought a key card.
I have turned away from numerous things because they were key cards. So I might buy a few, but I'm still very much against it. And I'm canceling PS Plus, but I still love the Nintendo Switch Online. There is a large variation in the people that are behind this fight. We are not all the same. Like, Phil got into the Steam Deck, and he, who used to be very much against digital games, is now about some of them. And that's fine. That's a good thing. It's choice. It's variation.
Way it's going. If we're gonna end up all digital anyways, I mean, that's the platform that makes the most sense. Why would I want to buy into a locked ecosystem?
I can't get mad. Like when I see people online, they're like, "Oh, well, if we go all digital, I'll be back on Steam." Okay, that's fine. That's where we're all gonna have to go. Like, that's what it is. But for me, right? If that really happens, I might be different than Phil. I don't want to play new games that much. Mainly, here's the deal, dude. I'm 43 years old, and I have some bad health problems. I'm probably not going to live that long, but I probably have 30 years of games in my backlog, and that's not lying.
Me too.
There is literally thousands and thousands of games. I could never buy another game ever. I could stop today. When I just bought a day one collector's edition of Eve's Memoirs that GameStop still had. It was a pretty cool pickup today. But if that was the last game I ever bought, I would die before I played all the games I have. Period.
Same.
Hell, I might
Zook's got
die.
500 Switch games.
I might die
Yeah.
just on the PS4 games I have. I have like 500 of them. I got like 400 Switch games. I got 400, 500 PS2 games. Like I could literally die a happy man as far as gaming and never buy anything ever again. And that's what it really comes down to.
That-
Guys,
That's why Sony should really be scared to lose people like us, because even though we have more games than we can even have years of life to play, we keep buying games because we buy with the intention that I will play that. I do like this game. I want to experience this game. We are the Wells. We are the people that support the physical media. We are the people that go out and buy the goodies and the special editions. Well, except for Zoo. We like to have our physical games. And when you lose that option, when you don't give us that option anymore, you lose us. We have so much games in our backlog. We're not like your casual customer that might buy 1, maybe 2 games a year and then the rest of the time be on Fortnite. We are literally the ones that you want to keep buying the games, especially when you're making these consoles with the intention that you want them to break down really quickly so people buy the next system and move on. We are the ones that buy all the games that you come out with every single day. It's literally hundreds of games a week. We are the ones buying the physical. You really don't want to lose us, Sony. You really don't, but you're going to. And it's going to suck for you so bad. So bad.
In case Rush has to leave soon, I do want to get to one segment before that happens. So I did say that in every show, I want to have kind of a call out section where we sound off with either a specific person or group of people or company that we have problems with. And I want every one of us to name someone off. And when you are named off on this show, that is an open invitation to contact me and come on and defend your position, or tell me what your problem is with people who want physical games. So let's start with Rush. If there was one person or group or company other than Sony itself, who would you like to call out and have a personal conversation with about this subject?
So we'll start with a positive shout out first, so because we want to focus on the positive a little as well. In PNP Games up here in Canada, in beautiful Winnipeg, Manitoba, they're doing a fantastic job of leading the charge. They started a change.org petition to have Sony reverse this decision. I think last I checked, it's about 350,000 signatures. So if you haven't seen that yet, please check it out. I think I'll drop a link to the chat after I leave. So yeah, huge shout out to PNP Games. VGP, another fantastic Canadian online retailer, gets a lot of attention, but PNP is fantastic in their own right. So please check them out. Who I would call it a little bit, and this stems from the Matt Piscatella reporting on physical, that essentially concluded that the physical media sales are dying with respect to video games. I would call out Nintendo Life, who essentially kind of parroted Matt Piscatella. And I would just say, what's Nintendo Life doing, right? There's really, I think, no need for them to get involved in this discussion, at least in that capacity. This is a Sony discussion, and I really don't see much value in them saying, yeah, it's good physical games are dying when, again, by all intents and purposes, physical sales are a lot healthier on the Switch than they are on other consoles, and Switch 2 as well. So yeah, I would call out Nintendo Life. I think it was Ollie Reynolds who wrote the article, but the whole Nintendo Life as a whole, why are they getting involved in this discussion? And on that note, Jay, as you know, I do have to get going, so I want to, again, thank you for the opportunity to be on the show. Really an honor. And I will be listening in chat and enjoying the discussion.
All right, Rush, thank you so much for joining us. And Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life, you've been called out. If you hear this for some reason and you want to come on and explain your position, I welcome you to. Rush, thanks so much, buddy.
Thanks always, Rush.
All right. See you later, buddy.
All right. So, Zoo, who would you like to call out?
So I'll throw a couple in there. One I don't want to talk to. One I would actually like to talk to. So, but either one. I mean, if Matt Piscatella wants to come on and talk, I'd love to tear him up. I'll be real with you, but he's such a wormy little fuck. He's not going to come on. He presents data from behind a fucking paywall. Um, Data that is always skewered in a Sony narrative favor. Always, 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 always. And then hides behind the fact that, oh well, it's North American data and Sony's strong in North America. It's like, dude, you have been a fucking narrative goblin for Sony the entire time I've ever seen you. And then all of a sudden he's also was pro on Switch 2 all of a sudden. When it started to toe fucking industry line because it was a system that the third party cartel also developed for. So I have no use for him. Wouldn't even necessarily care to talk to him unless he wants to come on, and then I'm happy to debate him. But the other one would be Kiwi Talks, who I would love to talk to. I think he's an interesting guy. I think he does good work. That's why I'm extraordinarily disappointed, though not surprised, that he would choose his masters over his customers. And so, absolutely, Kiwi Talks, you've been called out. Would love to talk to you. Would love you to come on and answer for that, and give me some answers, because I was a follower of you for sure until I blocked you today for demoralization. So.
Phil. I think I know the answer, but let's hear it.
Dave laughing at Jaffe.
Ha 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 ha!
Yeah, let's laugh at Jaffe. Yes, because he got on there and he said that just nonsense about, well, these games are costing $300 to $400 million, and that I'm like, dude, everybody chewed you out to where you locked your comments. Who nobody asked for them to spend $300 to $400 million on games. And then he went back and he said, well, a lot of gamers are okay with them spending that much. No, they're not. Just because we bought a AAA game in the last 20 years at some point in time doesn't mean we're okay with them spending inflated budgets. I have never been. I've been saying for years that it's stupid that these games cost this much, because they kept putting the burden on us instead of being responsible. So yeah, I would like to talk to you, Jaffe, but by the way, why are you even concerned with Sony? You haven't been in the industry making a game since, like, what, the PS3? Dude, what are you even doing? Do you want to get back in the industry and they don't want to let you back in the industry? Like, why are you being this, like, schmeagle for Sony? Like they're the One Ring and you're just like, precious. So yeah, I would like to talk to you, bud, because you use a bunch of fancy words to act like you're smarter than everybody, but it's just a bunch of word salad. I would really like to talk to you. You love to have your YouTube channel and talk about stuff on there when it's just you. I think you should, get up, come on the channel. Come on and talk to us so that we could really pick your brain.
Let me tell you, David Jaffe is the most smug person I've ever heard speak. That guy thinks he's smarter than every single person in the world. If you ever heard him talk about politics and stuff, it would literally make you sick to your stomach, regardless of what your stances are. The guy won't listen to anybody. He thinks he's smarter than everybody, knows everything. I would love to throw him to the wolves with you and Zoo. I would just sit here and enjoy that. It's gross. But now it comes down to me, the host with the most. And I have two things that I want to say. I want to call out positives like Rush had said. And I will say that other than these two gentlemen here with me, the two people I've seen be the most pro physical game cause out of all of the people I've seen are DG. She is incredible, and she has been on it from day one. All right? Now, we're not personal friends. I don't know her, right? But I see her content. Sony shares a lot of her content. I follow her, and she's been right on it. And she's been like, fuck you, Sony, right in your face. So, DG, you have my undying respect. And Brandon from Just the Gems, like I said before, it's very sad that you have friends that you have to pre-apologize for because you might upset them with your take on physical games, but at least you stood up and said something. I really wish you didn't have to write a pre-apology for it, but you stood up and you stood for what you believe in, which is huge. So I would welcome either of them to celebrate the support they have for this anytime. My other call out, right? And I've always had a strict policy of not calling out people by name, but I will, and this could be very many of you. If you do not agree with my takes on physical games, specifically this blackout and boycott, and you are a content creator, especially if you think that our movement is insincere or performative or fake or ineffective, then I would like to talk to you. If you want to come on here, I'm not going to be mean. We're going to talk business, and I want to know, right, your thought process behind it. I want to know what would make you make those statements to your legions of fans who are physical game collectors. Like, it was like a weird warp world in the last 2 weeks of what I've seen some people that I really thought would be on our side say. And there's some people that I suspected would immediately flop, and they did. And there was no, I don't want to talk to those people. I want to talk to the people who I would have counted on my side who are not. And you know who you are if you're listening. So I would like to know how this is happening. This 3 or 4 of you. And I'm not calling out people by name. We're not into internet drama. If you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. I still love you. You're all great. I've always watched all your content. I don't turn on people like that. But I just can't, I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it. So I would love to get David Jaffe on here to argue with him. But these content creators, I love y'all. I want to get you on here and have a civil conversation and know why you think it's wrong or ineffective or performative for us to feel strongly enough to completely withhold our attention and our funds and money from Sony. Because I think that's, if maybe we can have some real discussions, maybe we can start to heal some of this tribalism. I don't know. But I have been legitimately dumbfounded by whether it's randos or, like Zoo said, the, John and 16 letters behind his name accounts, or whether it's established content creators. I'm just dumbfounded by how many people are against this. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I think that boycotts and things like that have gotten a bad name because a lot of times they're tied to political shit. And I think a lot of people, when you say boycott, they immediately want to think about politics or Democrat or Republican or race or crap like that. It has nothing to do with it. Like, yes, there's been many boycotts over religion and politics and all that crap. This has nothing to do with it. This has to do with me playing fucking video games. Right? So that's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I mean, we have plenty more to talk about. I just wanted to make sure we could get that out there. So, we got a good list of people that we would welcome over the next couple of weeks if somebody wants to come and talk to us.
While you're on that note, let me mention somebody who I see as an absolute fucking MVP. Somebody that I used to have occasional disagreements with, but never thought he was a bad guy, and he really fucking proved himself here. And that's Gene Park.
Yeah.
Gene Park has been a straight up G on this issue. Gene Park
I actually blocked him over something at one time.
Yeah, you should
block him because
absolutely
he
follow that guy.
Yeah.
That guy has been a tireless warrior for us. Please understand, Gene Park did not have to. Gene, when you talk about somebody at the highest levels, he's like a Jason Schreier. He is at the highest levels of this industry. He chose not to participate in the demoralization campaign. He chose to call out the demoralization campaign. And every single day he continues to fight for physical media. And he has earned my respect. He has earned my following.
We can talk to him. We want to talk to some good people too. Like and
Gene Park is an interesting person beyond video gaming. If you follow Gene, he's interesting. I would love to have a fucking drink with Gene Park and talk about this. And even if he's too busy, hats off to you, man. Fucking A+ effort.
I also got to throw out some good positive people too. Loot Box Gaming.
Yes,
they've been working tirelessly to advocate. They were also diving into making physical PC games again, which is cool. I've been helping him behind the scenes, kind of try to talk to some developers and things and make connections. And We talk a lot. Such a great guy. So humbled, and he cares so much about physical games, and he's actually one of the youngins. He's fairly young for him to have such a strong desire and passionate for that, being one of the younger kids that you would think wouldn't care. It's so endearing to see that. It gives me hope for the younger generation of gamers. And I've seen several developers that are not happy with this decision. Our friend James, Primitive Pixels, Seed of Nostalgia. He really cares about physical games. He's working tirelessly on his game, Seed of Nostalgia. Y'all got to check that out. Um, and he's not happy with it too. He put out a huge disclaimer on his Kickstarter about it. He's very against this decision, and there's a lot of developers that are against this, that have been vocal, and we gotta definitely champion those kind of people. So shout out to them.
And it's just, guys, it's so frustrating because at least me and Phil, right? We were so, and Zoo somewhat, but we were so entrenched right from the beginning. From the day the PS1 came out, and then PS2, and then I've specifically mentioned a couple times PS3 because I was a big supporter when people were downing it and saying it was inferior to Xbox. Like, I've always been with them. And yes, the PS5 generation has not been smooth, and I have bought a lot less PS5 games than I did for any other console. But I did get the PS5 on day one, and I bought my son a PS5, and I've probably bought 60 games, but at this point in the PS3 or PS4's life, I had hundreds of games. So it's been slower, but I still was supporting them. And I loved PS Plus. And I loved MLB The Show. I think last year I played MLB The Show like 700 hours. Like, it was that crazy. I played online, I was competitive, I had a great time with it. There is nothing sinister about what I'm doing or how I feel. I am truly someone who is betrayed. And for any of you that are out there that, like, you're being performative, you're being too emotional, you're acting like a child, you're a man child. Yes, I am. Because I'm a person that has a very high impact, high stress job. And thankfully I'm well paid in it. But when I come home, my fucking mind is boggled. I'm stressed out and I'm fucking tired because I earn every penny that I make. And I want to come home and I want to enjoy games to their fullest the way I want to enjoy them. And when I have someone who's trying to take my choice away for the one thing that helps me get through my miserable fucking existence, that is a travesty. And I'm not the only one. I know there are a lot of men and women out there that work hard and play hard. And I want to come home, and I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I'm very quiet. I like to sit in my house and play video games, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But you're taking it away. And that's crazy. I just don't understand it. And all I can hope for, because I really don't think Sony will reverse course. I honestly don't feel they will. But I hope that we can severely damage their business for what they've done. And I hope that Nintendo watches this fire and makes the right decisions going forward. Because yes, I've bought a few key cards, but I do not like them, and I would like to see them go away. I hope that Nintendo takes this moment in time, in the history of video games, in this hobby, and says, fuck, we need to do something different. And I actually had an interesting conversation this morning with my wife about how flash carts are, I honestly, right? I think that flash carts have a potential to hold a ton of data. And that's basically what your Switch carts are. And to think that flash storage 10, 15 years ago died out as a medium for storing things. And then we continue now with more advanced flash cards. Like, maybe Nintendo comes through and discs are a thing of the past and we continue with the Switch type carts, the flash carts. Maybe, people have prayed and hoped that maybe Sony would do something like that. I don't know about that, but it's funny that we loop back to cartridges. We got away from cartridges because we said they were in an inferior medium. And now we're doing away with discs and cartridges still stand. Now, granted, they are
Yeah.
different types of cartridges, but we're still playing cartridges, and in 2 years, discs will be gone. And that's crazy. And
It's funny to see that Nintendo had to save the game industry, and all these years later, they're about to save it again. Whether they want to be the savior of it or not, they're in the position to be, because Microsoft, there's already rumblings that they're going to follow whatever Sony does. They're going to go the same direction. Because if Sony pulls the plug on the physical media, Xbox is going to have no choice but to have to pull it too, because Sony is the one that manufactures the Blu-ray. The limited amount of Xbox games are physically on Blu-rays, so what are you gonna do, Xbox? Like, you have no choice. Sony pulls the plug on this, you get your plug pulled too. So yeah, Nintendo is literally the last bastion of physical games, and it's so crazy to me. Aside of the key cards, it's just, man, I guess history does repeat itself.
so I have a legitimate question for both of you. I was very surprised with this announcement. Like, I'm not dumb. I knew this was coming eventually. But to wake up that morning, what was it, the 5th of July or something like that, 4th of July weekend or whatever it was, and I was like, what the fuck? Zoo and Phil, did that honestly surprise you, the timing and how soon it came compared to what you thought would happen?
I want Zoo to go on first, and then I'll tell you mine. Yeah.
I think Zoo might have died.
Did you die?
Zoo, did you become a ghost?
Zoo! Okay, well then I guess I'll go. Yeah, he must have died.
Yeah.
Hello?
There he is.
There
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
sometimes
is.
the mic does that. It's just weird. But anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, I'll go. So yes, and there's not many things that actually surprise me. No brag, just facts. I always jokingly say, half joking. It's true though. That eventually everybody will sound like Zoo. There's not too much that fucking gets past me. This shocked me. And not so much that they were going to make physical games go away like in 2 years, but the fact that they told nobody about it. And it was deliberate because they did choose a holiday weekend. Jay mentioned it's very important. That's a low news weekend. They fucking did that on purpose so that people were busy with their families and their holiday. Like, it was so premeditated. It was so cold. It was so calculated. And they told nobody except maybe Rockstar. But again, we don't even know that they were told.
I still think that they ran Rockstar out ahead of them to see
Probably.
how badly it would be taken, and B, to soften the blow some.
They have a very good relationship with Rockstar. So that would not surprise me at all. But what I will say is, yeah, it surprises me. And what also surprises me is just how well Nintendo has turned the Switch 2 around. I mean, yeah, you still have the plague that is game key cards, but at the same time, they are starting to go away. Oblivion, which has no fucking business even being on that fucking system physically, somehow they were able to optimize that bastard onto a fucking card.
And that's going to sell so well. We already have
my god,
we've already pre-ordered 2 in the house, one for me and one for the wife. Like, that's already.
Oh, that's going to be fantastically sold. Liza
I'm still
P.
gonna wait just to be sure.
Liza P. is coming out physically. I am hearing whispers that Stellar Blade is going to be on a real card. So it's happening. The ones that are gung ho on key cards are like your Crapcom, your Rapey Soft, your Square Shits. Those are the ones that are gung ho. I don't think you're going to see much budge on them, but everybody else seems to have gotten their shit together on the key cards, which is really cool. EA, all of your typical third party piece of shit cartel piece of shit fucking publishers that I don't frequent anyway. But in general, the Switch seems to have turned it around. There seems to be really, really good output, especially on the first party effort. Once again, they're starting to kick it into high gear. We've had like 3 months, May, June, July, of pure fucking winning from Switch 2. All I can tell Nintendo is keep it up, because I was as skeptical as anybody on the Switch 2, especially given the macroeconomic and geopolitical conditions. It's like, can anybody succeed in this environment? Think about that too, guys. Sony and Microsoft are choosing to do this at a time when gamers are already down. They're already down and they're already kicked in their ribs. And they're choosing right now, in some of the worst macroeconomic and geopolitical realities that customers have ever faced, and they come up and they kick you in the mouth now. Just think about that.
Yep. That is the truth.
I mean, it's crazy to see that, you know, Nintendo is turning it around. And I hope they continue to do so, because like I said, for new consoles and new games, Microsoft and Sony, it's like they're like, okay, we're out of here, we're gone, bye. And it's either, you know, you got the Switch 2 and you got the Evercade. That's pretty much all you got. And honestly, if that's what we got, I'm good with that. I mean, I want to see more true own cart games. I shared something with Rush, and he kind of backed it up with me. How that Nintendo has this weird thing. Don't know how sure it is, but if a game had released on a key card, it can't get a proper true physical later on, even if the company wants to do it, which
Seems
is
that way,
really,
yeah.
really weird. If that was the case, then it's like, man, that makes it even more devastating about the key card releases. But
Yeah, it does.
I know that I can just eliminate the key cards out of the equation and pretty much see like they're a code in a box and always online game, and just act like they don't exist, and continue to just it curates the Switch 2 for me, which means I save more money, gonna put it into other things, maybe picking up some retro games or comics or Blu-ray
Over
movies or whatever.
$2,000.
Yeah, so, you know, and I think it'll be all right. I mean, I'm looking forward to jumping into Splatoon Raiders, though I've already said I'm not gonna buy the Nintendo Online, so I'm hoping Zoo or whoever will hook me up with a code or something, because I don't
Yeah,
pay
I've
for
got,
subscription services.
dude, I have so many unopened cases that have those codes, and they last fucking forever. I will find one for you so we can do that. There's so many. The other thing is, that's a great point as far as curation. Yeah, I have saved. I've been counting it. I've started recently counting again. It's over $2,000 that have been taken directly out of the game industry's fat ass pockets, and now they just don't get that money. It's $2,000, and I'm spending on whatever the fuck else that's not gaming related. And you can thank keycards for that. It's like, guys, I know I'm only one person. I know I'm only one data point, but I can't. Jay even says, like, if it's a absolute must have, like Elliot game, then he's going to play Elliot. But if he's not playing a game like Pacopia or Elliot, then basically what's going to end up happening, he's going to pass on.
If I could punch you through the screen right now, I would.
Well, I hear that Elliot is a masterpiece, but
it absolutely is.
And I can't. I'm sorry. I cannot. I loved ET as a kid. I can't see that game and not think ET. I just can't. So every time I see that name title, I'm like, Elliot. It's I'm sure you've told me it's fantastic. I'm sure it is. Let me tell you, it hurts so bad. It hurts so fucking bad not having that. It hurts.
I mean,
Crimson Butter.
It does put you in a rough situation, because the only other way that it's available is supporting the demons.
I will not.
Right. Like, you either get it with PlayStation or you have to buy a key card.
Well, I will have to live vicariously.
Steam or something? Isn't it on Steam, though?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
like
I think,
that's a debate for another day, because if you will buy, I have a problem when someone's like, I will buy it on Steam instead of a key card. I don't agree with that.
yeah, it's not. I would rather have it on a cart, especially that game. That game
Like,
is, man. Or Fatal Frame 2. I
Used
wanted
on
to
the
play that so
PS5
bad.
at some time. Because that's the only place where the physical is actually physical. And it's so weird. I was talking to Jay, or maybe it was maybe both of you about this. The Final Fantasy game, the new one, it's a key card on Switch 2. It's a physical on the Switch and on the PS5. And then here's Elliot, where it's physical on the PS5. It's not physical. It's a key card on Switch 2, and it doesn't have a Switch 1 version. And surely it could be on a Switch 1 cartridge.
Well, here's
That
the
makes
thing,
no
Philly.
sense.
So
Square
here's the
Enix.
thing. I actually hear that game is pretty intensive. Actually, I hear
Really?
it really leverages the Switch 2 well. That's what OJ was telling me. He does not know if that could be on Switch 1.
The game was fantastic. All the graphics are beautiful. Like, I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are trying to like get down on the 2D 3D. It's still brilliant and it looks
Oh, I
great.
love 2D 3. I love 2D HD 3. I love that shit. That's why that one hurts so bad. That's why it's like, just Elliot. I want it so bad.
But yeah. So that's one that, like I said, it's something I didn't want to miss out on, and that's how I wanted to consume it, and I did. And I don't offer,
if you're gonna get a key card, that's one of the ones to get. I'll be real with you.
but like I said, like I don't feel like I need to make excuses for it. Like, you can support physical games and still buy that, because it is still a physical game. And
well, and my point
I
is that
dislike the medium greatly. And like I said, I have put aside many of them that I did not buy.
exactly, which means you buy less of them, and that's my point. Is we're all buying less games.
But I still stick to my thing that if someone will buy that on Steam and proudly proclaim it, and then be like, "Well, I won't buy a key card," then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Even if it's you
I
two.
only
If
really
either
buy
of you say
Steam.
that, you're an idiot too. Like, at some
I agree
point,
with
you
that.
have to put intelligence before values. And
Even an argument to be said there. It's like, okay, I want. This is just my thought process. If I want to support true physical media on that platform, I want the real physicals to.
you
do
can't support
well.
physical media by buying a digital game. You can't.
I'm not gonna buy. No, let me.
End
let
of
me
discussion.
Finish. I'm
There's
not gonna
nothing
buy,
to discuss.
let me finish. Let me finish. I'm not gonna buy the key card. I'm not gonna buy the key card. If
Then don't ever
somebody
buy
ends
it
up saying,
digitally.
well, let me finish. If you don't buy the key card on the Switch 2, you're not supporting the key card. So that means you don't want key cards to continue. Now, if they go out and they buy it digitally on Steam, that doesn't really say, hey, I want to support key cards. I want key cards to continue. Now, it does give a sell to Steam. It gives sell to Square Enix.
It means that you
But
don't
if the
support
point is-
physical games.
True. I mean, it's true.
I
But you
try,
also are
so-
saying, I guess I can. You know what? I don't know if I'm making any.
Well, here's the thing. So let me. I try really, really hard to only buy Steam games if there is an insane deal, like Mass Effect Trilogy being $6 or $8, whatever the fuck it was, or if it's a game that you cannot get anywhere else. You're not playing Fear and
Yeah.
Hunger on any consoles. You're not playing Void Stranger, sadly. God, that's so sad. You're not playing Void Stranger on any consoles. You're not playing Look Outside on any consoles. Those are the kind of games I might jump at for Steam, but that's about it. I try really hard to limit my Steam purchases. And also, if I can find it on GOG, I'm getting it on GOG no matter
My
what.
thing
My world's not on GOG, and I'm not
My
gonna get it
thing
on PlayStation.
is, I have plenty of Steam games. I don't care if you buy Steam games, but if you're going to attach your digital consumption on PC to your fight against key cards, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're two separate entire things to me.
Like it just doesn't make sense. So
You
you're
either buy
going
key
to
cards or you
you're
don't.
going to stand for your your beliefs by giving yourself something that's inferior because you have no control over it. You can't resell it. It has no dollar value after you've purchased it. You're going to take away from yourself to support your beliefs, or what? Like that doesn't make sense.
Not gonna do that. I mean, I'll buy the game on the actual physical, but that might be some way that somebody tries to rationalize it. Like maybe their only physical console is the Switch, so they only want physical games, and they're comfortable with buying digital, I guess, on Steam or GOG. So they don't want the physical games to disappear on the Switch too, so they only want to buy true physicals, so they won't support keycards, but they may buy it on Steam or something. I don't know. That was just my
I would ask
my
that
reasoning.
I would ask that person how many console games do they actually play. And if they can't tell me that they're consistently playing console games, I would say that they don't have a right to be in the discussion. So, and again, I'm only bringing it up because we want to talk about keycards and how that's ruining physical media while we have Sony literally shutting the fucker down.
Yeah,
and we already lost that battle a long time ago with PC. Like, keycards shouldn't even be a discussion. Me and you, Phil, have had this argument on the phone before. It shouldn't even be something we're talking about. Keycards are no longer the enemy. They're like the key cards are the bully on the corner, and Sony is the Nazi party.
I get what you're saying, but my thing is just because Sony is the major threat, and we need to focus on the major threat. You also need to keep your eyes on that bully on the side because they may try to slip behind you and stab you in the back.
If we don't put our full attention on the fight with Sony, physical games won't exist because Nintendo will immediately follow suit.
I know that.
Can we all agree that Sony has basically made the keycard point much shallower? I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying I like keycards.
I mean, I look. I am fully capable of fighting both at the same time.
Sure,
and I get it. I get what y'all are saying. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be like, well, keycards are not as bad as what Sony's doing, so let me kind of like not stand up for that anymore. No.
Phil, where do you
like y'all can do whatever?
Phil, where do you do the majority of your gaming?
Where do I do the majority of my gaming? Well, right now I've been playing a lot of Pal World with you. So.
But over the last 6 months, where have you done the majority of your gaming?
That's a trap.
Honestly, I haven't been playing much.
Okay, so either you're not playing many games or you're playing on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
That's the end of the discussion.
So you should ask me the same question because I actually have an interesting answer to this.
Zoo, okay. So same question for you.
Okay, do we count Morrowind or not?
Absolutely. Like I would count MLB The Show or games that I play consistently.
Probably 50-50 if we're counting Morrowind. If we're not, probably about 80-90% on Switch 2.
Okay. So for me, I can answer that in the last 2 weeks, I have played Pal World a lot. But maybe even Splatoon Raiders as much, but 2 weeks, a lot. Otherwise, almost no PC consumption at all. So I don't...
Yeah, Morrowind skews it quite a bit.
I can't really have like a meaningful discussion with someone who isn't playing games and isn't playing them on consoles. Like you don't what's your horse in the battle here? Like I don't know.
I like physical games,
but you don't play them.
Doesn't matter. I collect them. I buy them. I buy with
the intention. But the key cards can sit on the shelf just like the games behind you.
No, I'm not gonna buy key cards.
If they're just gonna sit on your shelf.
I'm not here to argue with you.
You guys are getting me going. You guys are getting me going because we want to keep talking about key cards. This is my point. My point is not to insult you. You can spend your money however you want. But if you bring up key cards, either of you, when you talk to me, I'm going to go at it because I've only bought 2 for me and 1 for my son. And
Haven't
y'all
attacked
act
you
like
over your
you all act
keycards.
like in our private conversations like that's something bad. And like I know that you guys go back and forth. You're like, oh, Jason posted that he bought a key card on Twitter. Yes, I did. Right? I play console games. I play games. And if we're gonna face the terrible threat of Sony and we're still gonna talk about key cards, that just feels disingenuous. It feels like you just want to talk about it. It doesn't mean anything. That battle is already over.
I think that Sony is definitely paramount. That's the thing. Like I told Prime on his cast, I said I am a temporarily embarrassed keycard hater, and the reason for that is Sony basically came along and made the keycard point look like a fucking piker in comparison. Like it really did. Doesn't mean I will not hate keycards. It just means that it is kind of embarrassing to talk about keycards right now.
Some people haven't got the memo.
And again,
I agree with what Zoo's saying. I mean,
It doesn't
but me,
sound like
I'm
it
not
though.
gonna. Well, I'm sorry that it doesn't sound that way to you. I don't know what you want me to do. Sit here and dance around with key cards?
Go buy all
Like,
the key
dude,
cards,
I
bro.
don't. I
Well,
don't
here's
buy
what I
them
will
all.
tell
you buy the damn key cards. It doesn't mean I'm gonna buy them.
Let
You're
me
not
tell
gonna
you.
convince me
Let me
to
tell
buy
you,
'em.
as someone who's played 2 of them, it feels gross because they actually feel lighter in your hand. It feels like a
Ew.
flimsy, light piece of plastic. It is gross. I agree with you completely. But the point I'm being so harsh about this is we shouldn't even be talking about it. Like at all. Let it go.
Let's not talk about it.
Well,
No,
and
but no,
real
but
quick, Phil, because you asked the question, I think I can answer that from the hypnotist perspective. Actually, what would you like us
he's
to
gonna
do?
hypnotize us.
I'm not going to hypnotize. No, I'm just going to explain that you should become so. The average person, and that includes you and me and Jay, we actually aren't these rational, big-brained Rick and Morty season 6 people we like to think we are. Okay, none of us are. We're human beings, and so what I mean by that is we don't rationalize a decision and then make a decision based on rationalization. We have already made up our irrational mind to do something, and then we rationalize it after the fact. And once you realize that, the entire fucking world of everything flips upside down. And so, what I will tell you is every single human being on the fucking planet, myself included, is a hypocrite in some way, shape, form, or measure. My advice to you and everybody else is get comfortable with being a hypocrite. It's part of being human. You're going to have hypocrisies. I'm a guy who says that digital games don't exist, and I have how many fucking digital games on Steam? Fear and Hunger is an only digital game. Blind Stranger is an only digital game. I am a walking contradiction, but I'm comfortable with it.
And the other thing is, a lot of this stuff is all very personal. Like, for instance, my wife plays exclusively digital, and her Steam library is hundreds of games. And when my wife asks me for a Steam card, I buy it for her. It's like we're all very varied. And again, I'm not against anybody doing anything. Like, but we need to stop talking about it. And I don't mean to stop talking about it. Get it out of your mind. You can't focus on this fight if you're worried about Elliot on a key card. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I've got to be honest. You've talked more about key cards during this whole conversation than either one of us. You kind of brought them up multiple times.
To be fair, we
said
did get him rolling though. To be fair,
I mean,
it is our. You're right, but it is our
I
fault.
just
100% our fault.
But anyways, let's go back to PlayStation because that is seriously the main thing why we're here, and we got off on a tangent like we overdo. Also, did you ever stop to read Rush Dog's comments? Because he's dropped like I don't know 6 or 7 of them. I don't want to.
Oh no, we should read the chat. Yeah.
He's talking about Splatoon Raiders, game of the year, made on a budget of less than $300 million. Currently has a 9.3 on Metacritic. Yeah, it's getting historically good reviews on Metacritic. I'm definitely loving it.
Oh, I don't even crack that shit, but that's 9.3 user score?
That's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
See what you can do, Sony? When you don't focus on specs and ray tracing of an eyeball?
Oblivion is selling well on Switch too. Currently sold out at the Canadian retailers and Amazon Canada.
Good to hear.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
big. Like I
waiting to
said, we've
see the
already
quality
pre-ordered
of
that.
the physical release of that. I'm just really curious
Oh,
what Desert Play's
Blood
going to say
Dog,
about
you
that.
motherfucker. I just saw it. Anyway, keep reading. You'll get to it.
VGP said they'd reprint key cards as cartridges. So far, they have yet to do so. And like we said, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it might be a rule with that.
Splatoon Raiders is peak. The next Cold in the Boy should be a Splatoon stream.
We should do that.
I think it would definitely be
Phil,
fun.
when Phil gets his, we should do that. Yeah.
Zoo is also an amiibo
Working on it.
owner.
You motherfucker. Out me like that.
Oh,
Yep.
I am. I have the big man amiibo.
God damn it, Zoo. My
Yeah.
whole wall in the room is filled with amiibos. We had every Lego Dimensions character. We had all the Disney Infinity characters. Your Toys to Life is great. Again, like I said, we're all very varied. Like,
Yeah, but you never said amiibo should die in a fire, and there's no way that grown ass adult men will ever have these on a wall. And
so
I'll be damned.
so
boy,
if-
was I
if-
that you
if-
want to talk about one thing.
If you
Uncle
can
Zeke's
buy
wrong
the
about
Big Man
totally wrong.
amiibo because you love manta rays,
I like Big Man. He's awesome.
can you see why somebody might buy Elliot?
oh my gosh, Jay!
Well, but I always answer questions directly. Yes. Answer is yes.
We're going to argue about this at the end of every single episode. I promise. I will
You can
do
argue with it. I'm done arguing with you about it. Have fun.
Yeah, all you
You
gotta do is
gotta entertain the dialectic. Come on, Philly.
all you gotta do is say, Jason, you're right. Thank you.
I'm not gonna say
I did not say that.
Jay.
But I did say yes. I can see how because
Jason, your purchases, you don't need to what's the word for it? You don't need to validate your purchasing decisions between me and Zoo. If you're happy buying key cards, buy your key cards, buy 1,000,000 key cards. I don't care what you do. I'm not buying them. Zoo doesn't want to buy them, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
I don't think he's trying to sell us on key cards.
So you just said I was gonna buy 1,000,000 key cards. Like you are the one that actually can't let it go.
I said if you want to buy 1,000,000 of them,
See, guys,
go ahead.
this
I
is
don't
the
care
beauty
how
of
many.
this show. I'll argue with the hosts too. I don't care. Like I'm good with this. Like
that's what's great about it. Yeah, that's what's great. Live is fucking fantastic.
we cannot have an actual discussion about this because you don't play games. Like,
That's what he's going to keep going back to.
but it's
Okay,
true.
so don't play Pal World with you anymore. Okay.
You only
You're
play
playing more
digital
so-
games on your Steam Deck.
The Steam Deck only has digital games.
But look at all those physical games behind you you're not playing.
Okay. You want me to play more of my physical games? I guess I got to play more of my
Now,
physical
in
games.
fairness, like Zoo said, I always answer directly. I was done, and you told me I was going to buy 1,000,000 key cards, and now we're back on key cards.
It's not
No,
what
it's
I
always-
said.
it's always
I
good
said
for him to
if
answer a question as
you
directly.
wanted to buy as many as you wanted to buy, I don't care. That's what I said. And then in your brain, you took it as like, you just told me I'm going to buy 1,000,000. That's
No,
not what
you
I
actually,
said.
chat, did he not actually say 1,000,000 key? He did. Zoo, do you remember that?
I said if you wanted to buy 1,000,000, if you wanted to.
I
Not
think he
that
said
you
if.
were.
But, but that's the joy of life. We can roll it back. You can roll it back.
The bottom
You're
line
crazy,
is,
Jay.
the bottom line
You're
is,
crazy.
Adventures of Elliot is such a good game, and
Elliot.
I am the only one who has experienced it here, and that's sad. And I don't.
Well, I will experience it at some point.
Elliot
As
hurt.
you've already said, Phil's got a massive backlog to get to.
Hurt.
Why haven't I played my physical games?
It hurt.
I don't know. I mean, it's not that I didn't want to. I think I've just I don't know. I feel like I've gone through ruts where I've just got so hard into like the buying and the collecting and the FOMO that it kind of just took me out of it. And then all the stuff that I was doing with premium, and then just it's not like I was buying games with the intention of not playing them. It just kind of became this almost like a robotic habit where I like buy a game and then I would talk to y'all. I'd be on social media. I'd get
Hey, I can
distracted with this like a
feel
cat.
that.
I'd be doing all these other things. We would be doing stuff together. I'd be
Right.
slaving,
Yeah.
working on videos. And before I know it, all this time passes. I've been getting sick. I've been, I literally have my Wii U hooked up in front of me with the intention of playing it and everything. And then this foot thing happened and I didn't do any of that. And I've been pretty much laid up. Now it's getting better. But I've wanted to sit down and play Splatoon 3 since I got it. But I didn't want to sit in here with my leg up and having to connect to, and it just, I don't know, man. And it's just spiraled for me. So
If I can, I'll
yeah,
answer the question as well.
I've gotta play my backlog.
Now, I don't
Got
think
to
I
sit
think
down and
I've played
do
I've
that.
played a lot more games, I think, than Phil has lately, aside from Power and that things of that. But I can
Yeah.
answer the question as well. And it is hard when you're working on videos in particular, when you're doing anything as a content creator. You often have to choose between playing games and making the content. Now, the good news for me is I'm fucking lazy when it comes to video production. I will choose playing the games almost every time. The result of that, though, is I do have like several reviews that are written. They're done. They need production. But because I'd rather play the games and make the fucking videos, God knows when they'll be. The closest one to completion's Tropical Freeze, which maybe this weekend, but I don't know, man, because Platoon Raiders is out. It's one of those things, right?
I'll tell
I've
you,
been working on it for like 3 or 4 weeks.
I probably have more unplayed games than both of you. Like, I definitely get it. And what you just said about the content, that I totally feel. Because when you're doing content and when you're really trying to go all out, you got one game or a set of games that you want to play to make long form videos on. And then you got games that you're streaming. And then you got games that you're playing on your own. And unfortunately, a lot of times the ones on your own get put to the side. And you're like, oh, wait, no, I can't because I got to stream tonight. I only have so much time. Like, I get it. I get it. And I point out the unplayed games because that actually shows hypocrisy in all of us. Like, I can talk about games and all that. God damn it, guys. Like, my game collection on Game Eye says like 60 grand or something like that. Like, it's crazy. And I have done better recently with playing the new, and I don't mean new like wrapped. I mean just the playing my recent pickups more often to stop the problem. But like honestly, I have 2 full bookcases of PS4 games and I probably won't ever play one of them. Because as much as I love them, it's if I'm going to play something on Sony, it's either going to be on PS2, 3, or if it's a new game that I absolutely have to have, it would be on PS5. The PS4, though at one point was a massive collection, at that point I was buying to buy. And if anything piqued my interest at all, I just fucking bought it. Especially as a GameStop customer, you go in and a game's $10. Well, it's very easy to leave GameStop with 6 games for $10 each, as opposed to buying one new game.
I did a lot of that too.
Yeah.
I did a lot of that too. I got like in tunnel vision where I would spend all my time.
Be right back.
I put up those videos. Okay. Put out those videos probably like a year or so ago to slow down on buying because I would get so caught up with the FOMO. And here's a thing that I think we both can that all 3 of us when Zoo gets back can realize the amount of games that come out now is, like I said, there are hundreds of weeks. The amount of physicals coming out is insane. When we were growing up, it wasn't like that.
Right.
You would go into a rental store, you might be able to buy one game. That would be the game that you would play for a very long time because your parents weren't getting you games often. And now you get your disposable income, and it's like all that time where you didn't get those games growing up or you had to rent them, you went crazy. And that's what I did. I just went crazy, and I went from playing a lot of games because I would only have so many. I would have to play that game, to where I would spend all my time just buying a bunch of games. And I've had to break myself out of the habit because I have noticed, you're like, Phil, why don't you play your games? And I'm like, dude, I don't even know. But then when I do get into a game like Power World with you, I am locked in, man. I am so locked into playing that. Like, if that had a physical game, I'd probably put that in. I'd be playing the crap out of it.
Let me tell you,
So
I'm glad
Phil's found his Morrowind.
I'm glad to see
yeah,
that, because back when we were both working with premium, like, I don't know if it was like, you were having trouble like with your mental state, or if you were just feeling down or whatever, but like, there was a lot of times you weren't playing games at all. And I know how much you love games. And believe it or not, like, I tease you about, oh, digital Pal World. I'm thrilled to see you playing a game and enjoying it with your friends. I'm thrilled that you were enjoying Morrowind with Zoo. But what I like about Pal World even more is you're actually able to play with me. Like, that's what I like.
we're
Like,
not playing.
that can bring us together. That's why I'm excited about Splatoon. I've already played with Rush, and hopefully I'll be able to play with you guys. And the great thing is, even going back to the original Splatoon, that somebody told me on the Wii U it still has online somehow
Oh,
for
that's
that.
crazy.
But literally, you can experience any of the Splatoon games with pretty in-depth multiplayer. Like, I'm excited for that because it will get us all together. And I went through
Kind
that
of.
with like
That's the kind
Mandy,
of gaming I want to
where
do.
like when we
Yeah.
were both having hard times, like we were playing games together, like Fantasy Life. We played that together, and we played that together for hundreds of hours and streamed it a whole bunch of times. And like, those things are like a really good thing.
Still got to get back to the Legend of Legaia, because
The
people were watching that stream.
the
They liked that
problem
too.
is with that stuff, right? Like, I was having a great time with that. Like, for instance, like, we were hot on that. We were doing it like every day at the end of my vacation there. And then I went back to work, and then that weekend me and you started playing Pal World, and we both agreed, like, we're not streaming, we're just doing this, we're just having fun. Like, this isn't for content. And I'll tell you, that was refreshing. I've told a couple people
Yeah.
that. It was refreshing to play a game where I didn't worry about what I'm saying, what oh, do I have to put a shirt on while I'm playing? Like, no, my fat ass can sit here with no shirt and play with Phil because I'm not on video. It doesn't matter. Like, so, like, playing something for my own enjoyment and that's giving me time with a true friend is something special. And
Yeah.
yes, guys, me and Phil are like the odd couple. We were even arguing on Pal World. He's like, all you're doing is leveling. You're not doing any of the other stuff. And I'm like, all you guys are doing is crafting. Why aren't you? But we're having fun and we're talking the whole time. And
We are
whether we're
so
actually
like the Dirty Dozen.
journeying together or whether we're playing apart but in the same world and on Discord chat, it's still cool and it's still an experience that I wouldn't get if I played it by myself. So that's a bigger
Yeah, and I
deal.
think that's how I want my gaming to be. I think as I've gotten older, I just want to chill more, and I really do like it when I'm with a friend, or either they're playing a game and then we're chatting and we're experiencing it together, which that's a lot of the stuff that I have end up doing. Like, either you or Zoo is doing something that's like, yeah, I could totally be playing my own game right now, but I really just enjoy being with a friend. So it's like, man, I got so many games I need to get to.
I
But
would
I keep
love
wanting to do other things with other people.
I would love to start a series with Zoo where I played Zelda games and he had to sit there and watch me
Oh,
and comment along.
well, I'll
That's
tell you,
great.
I'm your Huckleberry, and that might do gangbusters because I fucking loathe those games. And it would
Like,
be very, I think that commentary, I think I would add a lot to commentary of an Anuba Zelda game.
Like, we are going to I have
Oh,
Spirit
shit.
Tracks. I have Spirit Tracks on the Wii
Oh
U
my
digital
god, the Bomba
console.
Bin game itself.
We are going to fucking play Spirit Tracks together on stream. And
Oh no.
I got it all, buddy. I bought them
Oh, have
all.
fun with that.
Oh.
We will be
I
ready
think I
to
got both of
go.
those too. I think I got both of those
So
too.
you're really gonna put me through Wind Wanker, Twilight Princess, Spirit Tracks, Phantom
Yep,
Hourglass?
especially Phantom
Ooh, I've got
Hourglass.
to be
Night
there for
Zelda,
at
you
least
can't
the
beat
Wind
it.
Waker and the Twilight Princess because I love those two games, and I swear me and Zoo will get into it about the trash talking of that. I'm like, don't you talk about my little Toon Link, boy! I'll smack you in the face.
You like 3-hour tutorials where you herd fucking goats that are a manservant to an evil baby to clean a house, to get a fish, to grab some slippers, to grab for the evil baby, and then you go to talk to Belly Shirt Clown who gives you the magic doodad. Then you take Belly Shirt Clown shit, the fucking Regal Unibrow. Like, get the fuck out of here. This is not Zelda. I'm the motherfucking hero of time. I don't have time to do chores for the feckless, contemptible citizens of this fucking Hyrule. They deserve Ganondorf. Anyway.
Like, the funny thing is, I think it would actually be a fun series because even though my wife played those, I didn't really play them. I played them like a little bit, but I have them all. But even when I got them digitally too, like I have them physically and digitally because I did that panic buy on the Wii U shop before. I was like, all right, I need to get anything that I want on the digital console before this goes away. So I have a ton of games from Wii and the handhelds on the Wii U. And I bought them again, even though I've never fucking played them. And maybe now I have a reason to. I mean, it's novel. I think it would be fun for a while at least. But I remember playing Spirit Tracks, or maybe it was Phantom Hourglass. I don't fucking remember which one. And like the very first thing you do is try to like sneak Zelda past guards, like basically like moving her with the stylus, like she follows the stylus, and I'm like, oh no. So
Anyway, what I will say is let me try to make my avatar as unenthusiastic looking as possible to prepare for that. And then yeah, we can do it.
So
Risk no bias is Black
yeah.
Mamba.
So guys, we are running out of time. We're going up on 2 hours. I do have to pick up my wife. I want to state that period. I am not just with the boycott. I am with the blackout. I am not that I probably would have anyways, but I'm not signing on to my PS5. That's important. Don't even let them see you fucking log in.
Yeah.
Do not buy shit. I already bought the 5, and I'll admit I gave them money right after the announcement. I bought the 5 memory filled, the PS2 RPGs I wanted. I got my Xenosaga and all that shit. Like, I'm done. I'm done. They're literally not ever getting anything again. And I think my Crunchyroll has 2 months left on it. I do like watching stuff on there. Like, I'll watch that until it's expired, then I'm done. But they're really not getting anything. And
Crunchyroll
guys,
nonsense.
anyone who is watching, if you are on the fence, listen to the veteran people who are physical collectors. They are ruining our hobby. Sony is evil. They don't care about you. They don't care about your rights as a consumer. They honestly don't care. They have zoomed right past Microsoft as the worst offender. They are the worst of the worst. If someone put a gun to my head and was like, you need to buy a digital PS5 or an Xbox One X, I'd buy the Xbox. I just can't support Sony at all. Not that I would ever buy an Xbox unless someone had a gun to my head. But don't support them at all, guys. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. We can really make a difference. And yes, making a difference means hurting them. We want, I said, I can't be responsible for it. I hope that good working people don't lose their jobs or get laid off, but it really can't affect my decisions as a consumer. And I certainly do not give a fuck if shareholders and Sony executives lose their shit, if they lose millions of dollars, if they lose their jobs, because you fucking deserve it, you rat fucks.
I will not be morally held hostage by an industry at war with me.
Absolutely. So, closing statements, guys. That was mine. What do you got, Phil? What are you gonna do to Sony?
I'm not gonna buy your bull crap. Like I was someone who was so mesmerized by the PS1. I have so many fond memories of that console with my uncle, which I made a whole video talking about plethora of PlayStation games, mostly primary PlayStation games that we played together, RPGs. And Sony, you have betrayed me. You have stabbed me in the most painful way, to the point that I don't want anything to do with you ever again. Even if you reverse the decision now, I wouldn't go back to you, because I know you're not doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You're doing it because you're scared. You're afraid. You don't want your business to collapse. Well, if you didn't want your business to collapse, you wouldn't have made the stupid decision, Sony. You wouldn't have done it. So I'm done with you. I'm done. I will do whatever I have to do. Maybe I might even mod my PS5. Who knows? I guess we'll see. But regardless, I'm done with you. So, get out. Go away.
In the words of Fort Minor, when you come home, I won't be here.
Yeah.
Zoo, closing statement, brother.
Everybody has these fond stories about earlier Sony systems, in particular the PlayStation 1 and the DVD player. You hear a lot of fondness for those. You also hear some fondness for the PlayStation 4 with Bloodborne. I don't have that experience with Sony, and it's not. It's just they're never systems that I had. I had a PlayStation 3, really only for Rock Band, still one of my favorite games of all time, and Dark Souls, which kind of became my Zelda stand-in during the Dark Zelda era. But what I will say is, talking to you guys and hearing about your experiences with your uncle, or Jay's experiences with his kids and his wife on some of these systems, it made me think that I had missed out. It made me think that maybe there was something here that I could eventually experience if I could ever find the oodles of time needed to devote to another system after stacking the Nintendo Switch like I have. But I got to tell you, this news has basically turned me cold to that. It's completely turned me cold to it. Like, why would I want to? Like, even though I'm not supporting them with older hardware, it just leaves a bad taste in the mouth. I had a Vita that I had purchased. I was building a small Vita collection in terms of visual novels, which is a recent game that I found I love greatly. I haven't bought a single Vita game since that announcement. It just turned me cold on the whole enterprise. And again, it's not that I haven't had my problems with Nintendo. Anybody who's followed me long term, they know I've had my problems with Nintendo. But what Sony has done kind of puts those problems in perspective. Typically, my problems with Nintendo are either an ideological disagreement in terms of how they develop video games, or a disagreement on what they are doing with certain IPs. That's an agreement. That's a disagreement you could have a discussion about them with. That's a discussion as a shareholder, as a customer, and half the time they might listen to you. There's no discussion here. They didn't even rope in their partners. They certainly aren't fucking interested in players' opinions. It just seems different and cold and mechanical in a way that I can't describe. And ultimately, it seems evil to me. So I am so sorry for those that had an emotional tether to Sony. I feel for you guys. I will fight beside you guys. But I can't even imagine what you're going through. I wish I could say Nintendo has put me through something similar, but as much as I rag on Nintendo at times, I don't think it's ever been even fucking close.
Yep. All right. Well,
Nintendo's
guys,
worst day.
I thank both of you for joining me. It's been a great discussion. And I actually think we should have a little debate between us every week. I enjoyed that. So, but yeah, it's really sad what's going on. Hopefully the things we do can make a difference. If they don't, then it's our job to make sure that Sony pays dearly for their arrogance. So, guys, Thanks for watching. And as always, stay creepy.
Hey, creepy.
And Sony, get the fuck out.